It happened at Morgan's party. Her parents had a mansion at the edge of the lake. We were down at the shore dipping our toes in the water drinking mojitos. Aaron, Mabel, John, and me. We had just graduated from high school and the entire world was at our fingertips. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we didn't go. Would we be safe? Would our lives be normal? I guess it doesn't matter. We chose to go, and that was the night that everything changed. It was near 1 a.m., I think. The flames danced, sending long shadows across the sand. The scent of burnt wood and booze wafted through the air. It was a moonless night, and the houses across the lake were dark. People were hanging out in their own little groups, laughing and whispering and lighting joints. We were down by the shore, feeling the cool water roll over our feet, reminiscing about our final weeks of high school. And then Mabel asked, "What's that?" We all looked up. There was a light in the distance, maybe 100 yards away from us, straight across the lake. With how dark it was impossible to tell if it was floating above the water, or if it was on the opposite shore. "Maybe it's like one of those will-o'-the-wisps things," I asked. "I thought you only got those in swamps," Mabel replied. "Oh crap, you guys, it's a UFO, aliens." John imitated that guy in the History Channel meme. We rolled our eyes and laughed. But still, I couldn't take my eyes off it. Neither could the other three. We watched it in an uncomfortable silence, and then I realized that it was bobbing up and down slowly, as if it were attached to a buoy in the water or held by someone who was slowly walking towards the shore. Maybe someone's on the other side of the lake, with their phone flashlight on or something, Aaron asked, squinting in the darkness. Maybe we woke them up. "Yeah, but then wouldn't the house be lit up?" I asked. "Nah, if they got half a brain, they would keep the lights off. That way that no one can see them." John shrugged. "It's what I would do." The way that it bobbed up and down was calming almost, hypnotic. It made me think that there was no way that it was a person. It was too perfect. It must be some sort of lantern or something. But it hadn't been on before. Something must have triggered it. Maybe it was a lamppost on the shore with a motion trigger. But then, that didn't explain the bobbing. "It's so weird," Mabel said, shaking her head. "There's no way they can see us, right?" Aaron asked, tapping nervously on the mojito glass in his hands. "I mean, we're too far away, right?" "Yeah, no way they can see us," I replied. And then the light went off. Just like that, we stopped talking about it. Mabel started talking about how she and John would be leaving for the university in Miami at the end of August. My heart hurt, knowing that Aaron was going to Stanford and I would be thousands of miles away, attending the state college. I held Aaron's hand a little tighter, trying to hold on to this memory forever. Just sitting next to him, feeling him breathe under a sky filled with stars. "My gosh, it's freezing out here," Mabel said, hugging herself. "I'm gonna go to the car and get my jacket. Do you guys need anything?" "Nah, we're good," John said, giving her a wave. But just a minute or two after she left, the light blinked back on, and it was halfway across the lake. "Look, look!" I grabbed Aaron's arm. "It's coming towards us." "Oh no, it's a boat, a police boat. They're coming to bust us." He dumped his mojito in the sand and got up. "Relax, the police would just come to the house. They wouldn't come over on a boat," John replied, rolling her eyes. "What? You scared you're gonna lose your little spot at Stanford?" "Oh, get lost," Aaron replied. I glanced at the other partygoers. Most were oblivious, but a few were pointing to the shore. The light continued towards us, maybe 50 yards away now, blaring white, unblinking. A chill ran down my spine. "Who would be on a boat so late?" I asked, getting up and brushing the sand off my legs. Maybe it's a bunch of weird guys. I mean, most of us in attendance were women, and we had practically had a spotlight on us with the bonfire. Maybe they had been idling out there in the dark water for hours, watching us. But they would be stupid to take us on, right? There were like 30 people here, and some of them were guys, athletes even. Unless they had a gun. The light grew closer. They're coming right at us, John said, the usual laughter in his voice now gone. The chatter had died down, and a few others were picking up their stuff and heading for the stairs. Where's Mabel? John asked, scanning the crowd. I looked around too. I guess she's still at the car. We'll go up and tell her. The three of us jogged through the sand to the wooden stairs that made the climb up to Morgan's mansion. Behind us, the chatter picked up again, but confused and distressed. I heard Morgan shout to someone, "Put out the fire now!" And then she was shouting, "Get inside!" over and over. When we got halfway up the stairs, I looked back. The light was still on, hovering there a few feet above the water, reflecting placidly in the dark water. When everyone was inside, Morgan told us to keep the lights off, and as she ran around locking the doors, I ran over to the living room and peered out the front window, but Mabel wasn't by the car anymore. Crap. I swung the front door open. Mabel, get inside, there's someone out there." Nothing. I ran back to John and Aaron. "She's not out there." I scanned the crowd huddled in the dark kitchen, but I didn't see Mabel's bleached blonde hair or bouncy skirt anywhere among the silhouettes. My throat went dry. "Oh, no, you think she's still out there?" John was freaking out, and so was Aaron. The three of us ran over to the window. Crap, the light was much closer now. Way closer. Maybe only 20 feet from the shoreline. I scanned the beach, but it was too dark. The campfire was only smoldering embers, and strangely, the light from the boat or whatever it was didn't actually illuminate the shore in front of it. I cracked the window open. "Mabel," I screamed. "Mabel, get inside, there's someone out there." And then I heard something. A soft thumping on the wooden stairs. And when I squinted, I could see Mabel's bleached hair sticking out among the dark shadows. She was at the bottom of the stairs, quickly running up. The light hit the shore, and I could only tell that it had because it was so close to the remains of the fire. I scanned the stairs. Mabel was almost halfway up. "Run!" I screamed out the window. For a moment, the light just hung there, suspended in the darkness. And then it moved. It bobbed up and down, swinging slightly, like a pendulum, like it was connected to something by a string, heading straight for the stairs. My eyes shot to Mabel, and my heart sunk to my stomach. She had stopped. Why'd she stop? John ran over and wrenched the window wide open. "Mabel, run!" But she didn't. I could see her clearly now, her silhouette halfway blocking the light below her. She was about halfway up, and she was just standing there frozen, staring down at it. The light had stopped following her and just hovered there on the shore, a few feet above the sand. Completely still now, not even bobbing. And then she took a step down, towards it. John leapt into action, and he ran to the door, unlocked it, and swung it open. "Mabel!" he screamed. When she didn't move, he started down the stairs. I held my breath as I watched him approach Mabel. First, he reached out and grabbed her hand, tried to pull her away. When Mabel didn't budge, he grabbed her by the waist and picked her up bridal style and started back up the stairs. The light shot into motion. It jiggled and bounced as whatever was holding it raced up after him, swinging wildly from side to side, growing larger by the second. I screamed with several others as it gained on him. It was going so fast, so fast. He burst in through the door and slammed it shut and locked it, and set Mabel on the floor. "Close the blinds," he shouted. "Now." I glanced back. The light had stopped halfway up the stairs. Just frozen there, not even bobbing. I reached up and grabbed the blind cord. The blinds fell with a metallic clang. Everyone else raced to do the same. My heart was pounding and I kept staring at the lock on the door, making sure that it was slid. And then we were in darkness. I ran over to Mabel. "Mabel, are you okay?" I asked. Her brown eyes stared up blankly at the ceiling. "I think she's in shock or something," John said, lifting her slightly and cradling her head on his lap. "It was like she was in a trance or something. I couldn't get her to follow me." Morgan ran over, breathing hard. "The police are on their way. I told them that no one was hurt, but... She trailed off as she looked into Mabel's blank eyes. "Oh God, this is so horrible." "It's here! It's here!" Someone was shouting. I whipped around. "No." Light shone in through the blinds. Slowly, it passed from left to right, and then it paused and turned around, slowly making its way to the other window, as if it were looking for a way in. "Let it in." We turned back to Mabel. Her eyes were no longer blank, they were wild. She shot up, scrambling to her feet. "Let it in," she repeated, her voice a hoarse growl. "Let it in, let it in." She darted for the window. John, Aaron, and I all darted after her. I got there first, wrapping my arm around her waist, trying to tug her back, but it was too late. With a metallic sling, she pulled up the blinds. The light shone in, bright and unwavering, staring into my soul. I couldn't move, I couldn't blink. All I could do was just stand there frozen with my arms around Mabel's waist. Hypnotized. And then I felt a warmth in my heart, exhilaration, staring into the light filled my soul. It made me feel complete, happy, at peace. It was the same warm feeling I got when I imagined Aaron and I together forever. When I closed my eyes and just enjoyed being in his arms. It was beautiful, wonderful. Everything was right in the world. But then something caught my eye. A shape. Something floating in the darkness behind the light. It took me a second to recognize it, but then with heart-stopping horror, I did. Teeth. Rows and rows of pointed teeth twisted into a grin. A Cheshire cat smile floating in the darkness. The jaws of an anglerfish floating in the deep ocean. What a fish sees seconds before its demise. Someone lowered the blinds. I blinked and rubbed my eyes and looked confusingly around at the others. For many minutes, no one spoke. When I finally looked back at the window, the light was gone. Mabel was never the same after that. A few weeks into the summer, she went away to a mental institution. She didn't start at the University of Miami in the fall. John went alone, and I recently saw photos of him with his new girlfriend on Facebook. Aaron and I broke up as well, and I can't say that I've enjoyed my first year of college without him. But that's not the only wrong thing in my life. You see, last night, just before I went to bed, I looked out the window, and I saw a white light deep in the forest shining back.